Hey y'all, so today we're going to do another first. We're going to review the first Kydex holster on the channel. This happens to be made by Dragonhide Concealment. It is a small holster company. As far as I know, it's pretty much run by one guy, and he sits and makes different holsters for different guns, a few other different Kydex items. And he contacted me because I was having some serious issues trying to find a decent holster for my 19X with a light and everything. Long story short, there will be other reviews on different holsters that didn't go so well, but that's another day. And he reached out to me and offered to help me out, which I was super appreciative of, and he actually ended up sending me two different holsters, this one and the inside the waistband holster that will be reviewed later. And I figured I would do a review and talk about what my thoughts are on it and what I think about it. So, taking a look at it, he did this for me in like a coyote brown, which I'm really cool because he was able to match as closely as you can match the coyote brown. Anybody that has an FDE gun knows what I'm talking about. My gun, which it's actually a really good match. Like I said, all jokes aside, FDE Coyote Brown is very hard to match because, every company has their own little tweak of it, but I think that's a pretty damn good match. Let's see, so let's look at the inside of it. Now, inside is real nice and smooth, like no rough marks, no anything on there. In the beginning, people have seen my video where the marks on the frame are there from the previous holster and from the finish on this gun being kind of lousy, we'll say. And I've noticed this holster has not irritated that anymore or caused any more excessive wear. So the inside of the holster is formed quite well. Retention is really nice. Snaps in there. Now I've got this screw most of the way out. It's very adjustable for retention, so like I can have it to where it's pretty much a like slide in, right? Like it just kind of, and I'll show this on my belt in a little bit, but it just kind of pops in there, right? And then I can tighten it up a little bit, which actually I don't even think I'm going to need. Oh, I guess I'll need my screwdriver a little bit. But you tighten it, and it's now a much firmer and positive click. And in fact, the retention is so good in this that if you tighten it all the way in, I made the mistake of tightening the set screw all the way in, and I actually kind of locked the gun into the holster, which I thought was kind of funny, but it gives you an idea of how much adjustability you can get with the retention. You can set it wherever you want. Like I said, I've had it set fairly light, and I have not noticed it change at all. It's stayed in place. Like I said, I have it fairly light, just because for me, the weight of the gun holds it in, and I'm not doing anything super crazy nuts to where I have to worry about doing a jumping jack or a cartwheel or being on the dance floor and trying my moves and having my gun fall out of my holster. Not mentioning anything there. So as far as retaining the gun, I love the holster. It does a real nice job. Let's see. So another thing is I like, because of how these clips are set up, it's adjustable for cant. Being on the thin side, I like having a forward cant on my handguns, especially if it's a large frame, which the 19X is most definitely considered your large frame, being that it's got a full-size grip. So I like it that it's fully adjustable. I like that I can have it canted, and I can even bring it up and down. And that's about how I've got it set up right now. Just a little bit of forward cant. I really like that. Craftsmanship on this holster. Now I've been wearing this now for about a month or so, a little bit more. And holster has held up perfectly. It looks just like it did when I first got it. I've sweat on it, I've used it, it's banged into a few things, and no issues at all. Real happy. The belt clips or I'm sorry, the belt hooks have held up quite well. One of the nice things right there, made in USA. Big fan of that. I like seeing stuff that's made in USA. I know everybody talks about making it cheaper in China, blah, 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 but this holster is 100% made in USA by a guy sitting making them one at a time, and I like that. So, like I said, finish is held up real well. It's a good looking holster, I noticed. Like, the lines and everything. I've seen some holsters where they're all jumbled and whatever, and it looks like basically you can tell where somebody shoved like random toothpicks and popsicle sticks and stuff in, and that is how they form them. But this one doesn't look that way. It's got nice, smooth, clean lines, so it almost kind of like matches up with the gun. Looks real nice. Looks real professional. Um, the edges have been smooth and buffed real nice. No sharp edges along here. I've never gotten caught or anything on there. Real nice. Nice. I like the tall sweat guard. Rides all the way up to the back of the gun, which is real nice, and also makes it that pinching isn't really a problem. I've noticed that with some of the guns where people worry about the sweat guard, I guess, digging into them, and they go with a short sweat guard, and then you've kind of got a gap like right along here. With having that full sweat guard, it rides up the full length of the frame, kind of holds it all in place. I like it. Overall, really happy with this holster. The guy's definitely putting out some nice stuff, and it'll be interesting to see once his company gets a little bit bigger, what else he starts cranking out. Let's take a look at it on my belt. Alright, so here we are once again at belt level. I should come up with a new name for this camera angle, but whatever. Alright, and I've got the holster on, and as you can see, it conceals pretty well. Maybe every once in a while you might get the occasional hard point, but you are in fact concealing a full-size gun. So, and this is just simply a t-shirt, so under something heavier it would be even less noticeable. But it conceals pretty well. Covers everything real nice. And let's pull it up a little bit. So now we're seeing it rides really nice on the belt. With that forward cant, it really does help it disappear into your body, even under a light t-shirt. I really like it. With a good carry belt, this is the Core Essentials belt that I'm using with it, you forget it's there. I've used this all day long, 12 hours, been out, running errands, doing whatever, grocery shopping, and you forget it's there. I've then come home and wore it for another couple hours, and you just forget it's there, which is saying a lot considering you're dealing with a full-size gun. As far as draw's pretty good. You can get a pretty good grip on the gun, right, out, everything. Reholster, real nice. It just kind of slides back in there. Now, it usually slides in a little bit better, but it's unloaded, so less weight. But reholster, real nice and smooth. So if for some reason you needed to do the super fast tactical reholster, whatever, slam it back down in the holster, whatever you feel you need to do. Because the holster is nice and smooth on the inside, it does that. It's not a rough, abrasive draw or reholster. So I really like the fact that it's a nice, smooth draw and a nice, smooth reholster. But overall, it rides really well, and I'm very pleased with this holster. Alright, so those are my thoughts on the dragonhide concealment outside the waistband belt holster. Very happy with it. Fits my Glock 19X with the Streamlight TLR1 HL very well. I look forward to using it for years to come. And if anybody's looking for a decent, well-made, handmade Kydex holster for a gun of theirs, I would highly recommend you go check him out. I know he's on Instagram. You can send him a message and he can get back to you. And like I said, really does nice work. Very happy with this. I do have another holster of his I hope to try out and review soon. But that's about it. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them, and have a good day.